Morning musings from the tiny little studio on this tiny little Greek island. I hope you can hear me. I move the microphone a little bit closer just in case. Oh, this morning I was journaling and um, was thinking about how I'm a very positive person. I generally, in my general makeup, I'm the optimistic type, positive, will always try and see the rights or the better side. I don't know if I'm always saying the right side, but the better side, what's better for the group, what's better for me, what's better for what is more harmonizing and compatible and compassionate tends to be the way I go about my life. And, I was thinking about it this morning because I was writing in my journal that I wake up and I'm positive and optimistic, and it's a beautiful day, no matter what the weather's like. There's just so many opportunities and all this hope and everything. It sounds kind of Pollyannish, doesn't it? and and um, that's that's not it. I mean, it's not that I'm just blindly putting on these, like, oh, it's a beautiful day and whatever happens, it's going to be a beautiful day and all of that kind of thing. Yeah, no, that's not exactly what happens. So, let me just try and see if I can turn on my chat here. So there it is. So hopefully, I know Brazen. Hi, Brazen, if you're here. I saw your message um, after I had done the the morning musings and didn't see it because of this new setup that I have. So, anyways, here I am, and I am thinking that am I like the Pollyanna type person, like just everything's good? Am I right? Am I remembering that whole thing back in the day? But I realized that for me, I it's not that I'm either good or bad. Like I'm in a great mood, I'm optimistic, or I'm negative and pessimistic. That's that's not it. I mean, there is no you're either this or that. It's like you're this, that, and everything in between all at the same time. And again, like I say, you know, where am I going to place my focus? Where is my focus going to go? Is it going to go on this negative thing? Am I going to try and lift it up? And so I realized that uh, me waking up positive and hopeful and optimistic, and it's a beautiful day, even when it's raining or thundering or whatever. It's just beautiful. There's so many things in my mind that you know all the good things that can possibly happen, but I am not definitely Miss Positive and optimistic. And I realize that what I do is like if I wake up and I'm at 50%, if I'm at 50%, I'm like, uh, I will make an effort to move to 55% positive, optimistic, uh, uh, to work towards harmony and compassion rather than my dial slipping at 45%, where I'll be just a little bit more negative. And, so I tend to just keep the glass half full. And even if it's just halfway, I'll add one drop of water just to edge it over just a little bit towards that more optimistic, positive state, because that is the area for me anyways where I can uh, better learn to appreciate who I am as a human being on this planet, to better appreciate the people around me, the human beings out there who are on this planet. If I don't do it first within me, I have a real hard time doing it for the people around me. And so those have been my thoughts this morning in the tiny little studio. I have I don't know, the weekend is coming. I'm almost thinking of just taking the weekend off, but I don't think I will because I don't know. I come in here and this is my weekend on a daily basis. And especially like here, let's take yesterday, right? I woke up, positive, optimistic thoughts, things, you know, things that I want to do, um, the steps that I want to take for myself, so that I can be useful to you and anybody else that, is in my surrounding world. And even though you may be on the other side of the planet, through here, we are connected. And that means a lot to me. It really does. So yesterday I started out in this positive state. I did, my morning things and all is good. And I was planning on doing this painting, which I didn't do. I didn't do it. I didn't do it because then things got negative in my in this home. And turbulences and little arguments and you know, things can happen in relationships with the people that you love. And so, so I did turn and went, maybe down to 30% yesterday. And and then what? I mean, then what? Well, rather than uh, wallow in it, feed off of it, because anybody knows if you're getting into that downward spiral, if you don't like grab onto uh, a ledge, something, so that you don't keep spiraling down. This is what I used to do when I was younger. I mean, I would just spiral all the way down in this. I had to hit rock bottom. I had to hit bottom, and then boom, it was over. But I no longer do that. So when I start to spiral, I come into my studio. Isn't that crazy? I come in here, I sit with the already positive energy that is in the studio because in here, when I'm creating, it's 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 just beautiful. And I'm telling you, you guys, energy remains, like the general feel remains. Um, and you can feel that when you walk into a stranger's home, somebody you just met. Sometimes it just feels very open and welcoming and accepting and loving. And other times there's this closure, this shutting down feeling where you don't quite feel comfortable. And I know that this is true in my life. I can't prove it, so yeah, whatever. But there is um this beautiful energy that is alive in this little space here, my tiny little studio, right? There's beautiful energy in here. So when my day gets tumbled and I get thrown over, and maybe I'm in the process of a failure and falling, when I come in here, it's like my meditative um, personal space that is healing and just kind of from the 40%, I get lifted back up and back up towards 50. And if I can get to that 50% mark, it's really easy for me to just open that window and just let that sunshine in. And I am back in my optimistic, positive, harmonizing, uh, wonderful state of being. And the point of all of this is how painting, the act of creating, the act of learning, the act of mixing the colors and then putting it on a canvas, all of that is the, um, what is it called, fodder? That that um, that enriched soil that beautiful things can grow out of. And uh, I like to consciously keep that alive. I like to, I choose to consciously be aware of this space in here, of this space in here, and what's going on. And when it gets turned upside down, when it gets, I don't know, insulted, when I feel shame or embarrassment or guilt or anger, right? I want to um, choose to move back towards the glass half full with one extra drop in it, right? Just to keep moving it up back into that healthy, positive realm. And that's what I've been thinking about. So in my journaling this morning, I was like, am I always like just positive and optimistic? Heck no. No, 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 no. But I may be 60% positive. And when I'm 60% positive, I will continue to feed and focus and nourish that 60% to bring it up to 65. And when I bring it up to 65, it's much easier to bring it up to 75. And so, it's just that feeding and nourishing and opening and that sense of balance coming through and just expanding and expanding more deeply into that harmony, into that beauty, into that compassion and warmth and love. That that is my chosen state of living throughout my life. And I like that. I do. I like it. And I want to continue that. Does it mean that I won't ever like slip off and like crash and go down to zero? Sure. Of course, who doesn't? But it's the act of falling back, of that failure, of the anger, of the shame, of all of that, like just welling up and overcoming you, that when you practice daily being optimistic, when you fall down there because you have practiced looking at yourself and your life with compassion and openness and hope and joy, then when you do slip down or crash down, um, there's a natural turning up towards back towards the light area, back towards um, feeling just a little bit more content, back towards at least a feeling of neutrality. That's your 50%, right? If you can get to neutral where, okay, it's kind of a choice then if you're going to slip back down or if you're just going to turn your gaze out the window and out and look at something that's beautiful in front of you, no matter what it is. You know, my scene right now doesn't, it's not that pretty, right outside of what's going on. There's stuff everywhere. We're building something and, so what do? I'll focus on just the way the light is hitting the juniper tree. Is it a juniper tree? Can you say that? Bush tree. It's pretty tall. It could officially be a bush. Um, or is it a holly? I don't know what it is, but it's my mom planted it. I have no idea. But anyways, it's looking at it and catching the rays of light of the sunlight that's passing over and how it's, resting on the leaves and it's alive and beautiful and blooming and it's got all these things happening. And I can notice that and choose to notice it rather than choose to notice the arguments or choose to notice the anger or choose to notice, oh my God, what could happen? This and that is just all bad and blah, 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 blah. So, with that, you guys be inspired, be creative, be you. Keep your glass half full with an extra drop or two towards the positive. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Take care.